Okay, so everyone, before we get rolling, on the network in this folder, 2020 resources, masonry details, there are a number of CMU details that are available for us to reference and look at. And I invite you to take those along with you. Copy this whole folder, take it with you when you leave here. They're very helpful. Some of the ones that we're looking at right now that we're going to use to design our walls kind of look like this. This is very similar to our wall composition right now. If you look at our wall composition in floor plan and then in section, if we roll into this wall in section, you will see that the big difference when you look at them is that here we have our 3 5/8 inch brick layer. They have a 2 3/4 inch airspace, and we will discuss why that one is a little bigger. Now we know with the increase in size does not come an increase in R value, because we know it's only up to a distance of 1 or 3/4 actually that we get that value of 1. Then we have our rigid insulation, much like we have in our wall right here. Then we have the concrete masonry unit, but they're not showing anything beyond it. And that's okay, because here we have a very nice demonstration of a very similar wall to ours, right? Where we have our brick layer, we have our airspace, our rigid insulation, our CMU, and then we have the interior finish. And notice they do not have a stud, they have what are called what? Hat channels. And they're using those furring type hat channels as an alternative to a stud wall. Now, we may still keep our stud wall for other reasons. However, we could also do our finish like this. And if it decreases the interior space and we need to cut back, we may go to this option that you see right here. But we haven't decided that yet. We will come to that conclusion, though, during the next couple of classes. So with that in mind, here is our wall for right now. The only thing that we're missing that you see in here is this air moisture vapor barrier, right? And you can see how it is directly attached to what? Our CMU, which means when we have a vapor barrier, we are not going to have a thickness for it in Revit, because that vapor barrier, although it could be a actual piece of poly type material, that vapor barrier could also be sprayed on the CMU as well. All right. In our case, it really doesn't matter, but we will be including a vapor barrier at some point. And we'll talk about why as we get to chapter 6 a few weeks from now. So that's our wall. We're going to hit OK for right now, and we'll hit OK again. That is our wall and what it looks like. Significantly thicker. Again, as we click on it and we go to edit type, this width of this wall is 1'8.5". The wall that we were working with before was only what? 1 foot. So we're adding 8.5 inches. So we're going to be losing a significant amount of square footage initially, but we're going to adjust to that. So what we're going to do is we're going to hover with this wall and hit the tab key and click. Notice it selects our primary 4 walls. What we're going to do is we're going to change it to this exterior primary. And as we do that, we can see how it's saying some of these walls now what? Overlap. So we're going to have to go in and adjust some things because we have some what? Some stud walls that are going to overlap with it right now. So as we go to a 3D view, we can see how our walls change. I'm going to delete this one that I actually built initially. And as I look, I can see in areas where this stairwell is overlapping with that, right? So in some areas, I'm going to have to do some adjusting to my wall. Here's why. If I go to that first floor, I'm going to close my reflective ceiling plan right now. Wait a minute. Cancel. I'm going to save. I should do that often. But while I'm saving and I get into this first floor, notice how I have a shaft that's in there, but I have this wall here, and that's all. Okay. Now, on the interior of this, there's a chance that I may not need the what? I may not need my actual stud wall in here. We're going to have to decide if we want to do what? Cut down on that, because look what it's doing to our actual stair. See how it's kind of overlapping. So we're going to have to come up with a solution for that. That's not going to be difficult, but we're also going to have to consider, besides that, the same thing over on this side, because this is going to be our other major stairwell, but we have not developed it yet. Okay, so I want you to go ahead, apply the wall to these four main walls. Do not apply it to these areas out here right now, because we'll likely have a different wall type there that we have to develop. That may be an architectural storefront in some areas, okay? However, our main envelope is going to be the wall that we just created, and we're going to have to make several adjustments. You can see how our elevator shaft wall overlaps that. We're going to have to do some adjusting, people, but this is the basic composition of our wall for right now. Also notice that if we go to the bottom of footing layer and we look at things, look at where, if we look in 3D, let's do that in 3D first, at where our slab is, you see how we are still even with our slab on the outside, so we're okay. So we're going to have to start making adjustments to the inside. So let's go ahead, I'll stop the video, and we'll pick up in the next one where we will start doing some of our adjusting.